I am knowledge giver Sujit Kumar Dubey, and in the previous classes we know about the lungs. But in today's topic we will know about the alveoli, which is present into the inside the lungs. And before to know about the alveoli, we will know about the boundary of the thoracic cavity. This means in which lungs present. The boundary of the thoracic cavity, that is rib cage. Okay. After that we will know about alveoli. Completely knowledge of alveoli today's we will gain. Okay. So firstly, what is the rib cage? Okay. So rib cage, that is boundary of thoracic cavity. Okay. Lungs that is present in the thoracic cavity. Lung that is present in the thoracic cavity. So from what is the layer? From which thoracic cavity? What is the boundary of thoracic cavity? Okay. Now we'll know. We will know. Mid dorsal boundary by thoracic vertebra. Okay. Thoracic vertebra number is 12. Okay. Mid dorsal boundary by thoracic vertebra, that number is 12. And mid ventral boundary by sternum, and sternum that is the chest bone. Sternum is the chest bone. Okay. So third is the lateral boundary. Okay, lateral boundary from mid dorsal to mid dorsal by ribs, that is 12 pair ribs. Okay, this means the number of ribs, that is 24. Means 12 pairs. Okay, so this is the boundary of the thoracic cavity. This means this is the rib cage. Okay, and lower boundary by diaphragm. In the previous classes, this all we will try to tell you from the figure. Okay, that before the lungs, below the lungs, this means the lower surface of the lungs, diaphragm is present by this way. This is the lower boundary by diaphragm. Okay, so mid dorsal boundary by thoracic vertebra, that is 12 pair. Mid dorsal boundary by sternum, sternum that is the bone of the chest, and lateral boundary from mid dorsal to mid dorsal by 12 pair ribs. Okay, and lower boundary by diaphragm. But main topic of today is that is the alveoli. Okay, this is the alveoli. Alveoli is the functional unit of lungs. Alveoli is the functional unit of lungs, and the number of alveoli, that is 300 million, including both lungs. Okay. To know about the lungs, you can go in the previous classes, lecture number 5. Okay. So alveoli is the functional unit of lungs, and number of alveoli that is present in the lungs, that is 300 million. Okay, 300 million, including both lungs. Respiratory area. What is the respiratory area? So area formed by alveoli for gases exchange. Area formed by alveoli for gases exchange, that is the respiratory area. And the respiratory area is 143 milliliter. Okay, respiratory area is 143 milliliter. This is the respiratory area, and you know good way. That what is the respiratory area? The area formed by alveoli for gases exchange. This is the respiratory area, and amount of respiratory area, that is 143 milliliter. And now we will know about the structure of alveoli. Okay, what is the structure of alveoli? Which type of alveoli will happen? Now we'll try to know from the figure. Okay, this is the important, that respiratory area is 143 milliliter, and sternum, that is the chest bone, ribs, that happen 12 pairs, thoracic vertebra, that is 12 in numbers. Okay, and alveoli is the functional unit of lungs. So now is the structure of alveoli. Okay, what is the structure of the alveoli? Okay, so this is the figures of the alveoli. This is the alveoli. Okay, and inside the alveoli air is present. Okay, inside the alveoli air is present, and this is the outer surface, that is, this is the complete alveoli, and alveoli in the one is frame and other is the surface. Okay, so frame provide elasticity. Okay, frame of the alveoli that provides elasticity, that is yellow fiber connective tissue. This means more yellow fiber and less white fiber. Okay, and surface of the alveoli, surface and cover of the alveoli that allow diffusion of gases. Okay, this is the surface of the alveoli that allow diffusion of gases, and surface of alveoli that is formed by simple squamous epithelium, and this epithelial cell plus basement membrane. Okay, epithelial cell plus basement membrane. So this is the alveoli. Inside the alveoli air is present, and this is the lungs part in which blood is present. Okay, between the alveoli and blood, this is the part of the lungs, and this is also part of the lungs. Okay, in this air is present, and in this blood is present. So between the alveoli and blood, diffusion membrane is present. By the diffusion membrane, air of the alveoli that comes in the blood by the diffusion membrane. Okay, and in the blood, this is the inner capillary wall, and this is the pulmonary capillary wall by simple squamous endothelium, and this epithelial cells plus basement membrane, and this is the pulmonary capillary, and inner side space between the surface of the alveoli and capillary wall, that is interstitial space. Okay, interstitial space. And what is the diffusion membrane? Diffusion membrane, by the diffusion membrane, air of the alveoli comes into the blood. If we ask that what is the diffusion membrane, then diffusion membrane is present between diffusion membrane, that is barrier present between air and lungs. Okay, diffusion membrane, that is barrier present between air and lungs. It includes alveolar wall. It includes alveolar wall. in that epithelial cell plus basement membrane plus interstitial space. Okay, includes alveolar wall plus interstitial space and plus capillary wall. Okay, plus capillary wall. This means that diffusion boundary is present between the alveolar wall plus interstitial space plus capillary wall. Okay, final. What is the diffusion boundary? Diffusion membrane. The diffusion membrane is barrier present between the alveolar wall, between the alveolar wall, interstitial space, and capillary wall. Okay. Now is the importance of alveoli. What is the importance of alveoli? Why alveoli is present in the lungs? What is the work of alveoli? Okay, so now what is the importance of alveoli? Okay, so now is the importance of alveoli. Okay, this is the pneumocyte. Pneumocyte is formed from the two words. One is pneuma, another is the cyte. Pneuma means lungs and cyte means cell. Okay, pneuma means lungs and cyte means cell. And what is the pneumocyte? So first of all, I want to tell you that pneumocyte, this is the squamous epithelial cell in wall of alveoli. Okay, pneumocyte, squamous epithelial cells in wall of alveoli. And pneumocyte is of two types. One is type 1, another is type 2. Type 1 is 95%, and type 2 is the 5%. And work of type 1, that is diffusion, increases diffusion rate. Okay. Type 1, that is present 95%, is produces watery fluid that moist alveolar wall to increase diffusion rate. Okay, to increase diffusion rate. What is the work of type 1 pneumocyte? That is present 95%. Its work is produces watery fluid to that moist alveolar wall to increase the diffusion rate. And type 2, that is present 5%, displays the very initial load that produce surfactant, that listing-rich surfactant, produce surfactant that listing-rich fatty material, reduces surface tension between water molecule, thus prevent collapse of alveoli. Okay, what is the work of this? This produces surfactant, that is listing-rich fatty material. Okay, and reduces surface tension between water molecule, thus prevent collapse of alveoli. Okay, and the term for the collapse of alveoli is atelectasis. Term for collapse of alveoli is atelectasis. This is a term for collapse of alveoli, atelectasis. Okay, and one is the term that is respiratory distress syndrome. Respiratory distress syndrome, collapse of alveoli in infant due to deficient production of type 2 क्या है, प्रोड्यूस करता है सरफैक्टेंट. दिस मीन कि collapse of alveoli in infants due to deficient production of surfactant, respiratory capacity decreases. Okay, and one term is the cholera cells. What is the cholera cells? So cholera cells, that is the cuboidal epithelial cell in bronchi, produce surfactant. Okay, cholera cells, cuboidal epithelial cells in bronchi produce surfactant, and other cell is the dust cells. Dust cells is macrophages of alveoli. Alveoli means lungs. Macrophages of alveoli and lungs, which you want to say because alveoli is present inside the lungs. Okay, so waste cells, dust cells, macrophages of alveoli destroy dust and other harmful agents. Okay, yani works. This means work of dust cell to destroy of macrophages and other harmful agents. Okay, and work of cholera cell is produce surfactant. Okay, which is the also work of pneumocyte. In the pneumocyte type 2, which is happen 5%, that also produce surfactant, and also the work of cholera cell to produce surfactant. Okay, in the next classes we will know pulmonary volume, such as tidal volume is 500 milliliter will happen. Okay, so in the next classes you will completely take the knowledge of the pulmonary volume. Okay, so wait of the next class for the pulmonary volume, and this is also very important. Okay, thank you. चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना भूल गए, यानी जिंदगी में लक्ष्य को पाना भूल गए, इसलिए चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना कभी ना भूले.